Hey guys, Lydia here with Major Nelson, and we are joined by Ryan and Shelley from the Sea of Thieves team, and we're going to be chatting about all things design.
Very excited to talk to you guys because I've played a lot of the game. We both have, and there's a lot of interesting touches in the game that people may not realize that are subtle. The game gets out of the way and kind of teaches you. I want to talk about your design and approach and your ethos to Sea of Thieves.
With Sea of Thieves, wherever possible, we didn't want to have HUD and UI elements on the screen. We wanted you to be really immersed in this world. And we saw it as a real opportunity that we could just teach you through natural kind of audio visual feedback, just teach you how, especially things like how the ship works. You just feel like you're learning that naturally, like the ship is this real mechanical thing that you're learning how to sail. Yeah. So we wanted to keep all the feedback like just natural and in world so that you're just immersed, and instead of looking at little indicators on the screen, you're just in the world. And the crew that you're with is a really important part of that. Bringing you together and trying to think of ways to kind of naturally have you cooperate and need to communicate together was a part of that. So the reason why we split the map up from the person on the wheel is so that you kind of need to cooperate together and to communicate. And I think the way that everything works naturally kind of helps with that, bringing you all together, because you kind of need everybody having their little part in the adventure.
And the real world as well. It makes it feel like a world where if you're just pulling up menus to kind of look at things rather than an actual physical map, it kind of gets in the way of that experience where when you're using a lantern, you're using the compass, you're looking at the map and looking at the wind, it makes you feel like this is a world that ticks in the sense.
That's exactly what we wanted you to believe you're there in Sea of Thieves. You know, that's the lack of HUD on screen. You're really there, you're in this world. You're acting how you would expect to act. You know, if you're lost on an island and your crew's trying to find you, they don't look on a mini-map to see a marker of where you are. You get your compass out and go, oh, I'm to the west, or you say, I can see the sun setting behind me, and you just use natural in-world ways like you would in real life.
Right. Yeah, and I think a great example of that is when you look up and you see the direction of the wind.
Yes.
I mean, clearly everyone knows, okay, the wind's going that way, I guess I gotta have my sail so that I can turn it around and enjoy the breeze to my back to get where I want to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the more you turn your sails, the more wind you're catching in the sail, the faster you're going.
Even the amount it billows as well. So the final billow when you really catch it.
There's kind of a neat snap to it. Yeah, it's kind of boom.
We exaggerated that. We wanted that to really pop, so you get that feedback that it's in the perfect, you're in the sweet spot.
So you talked about sort of, exploration and discovering things for yourself. Obviously, with an open world game, having this mass, advanced sea to explore. How did you deal with kind of getting to the end of the map, if you will?
That's one of my favourite things, actually.
The idea was to create this kind of impenetrable fog around the outside of the world, which was the nickname the Devil's Shroud. Mm-hmm. So it is this really disruptive kind of sea that's poisonous. So we made it visually like it was dangerous to be in, and then the design came in with the whole way it starts damaging the ship as well.
We wanted, like you said, just a natural, you might sail off the edge of the world and you're kind of surprised, like, why is the sky turning red? Like, what's happening? And then you can hear, like, the ship is under strain. The audio team did an awesome job with that. It really feels like your ship is getting punished, it's crumbling. And then you start taking all this damage, and then very quickly you learn, like, okay, that's what happens when I sail off the edge of the map.
There's a couple of other things I noticed, like what you're doing, some of the game mechanics to bring players together, the skull over the island. That's a very subtle thing, but everyone will look up and see us go, something's going on there, let's go.
Exactly.
Right? And that's really powerful.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was designed for, is so that you can see it from really far away and you can make that decision, do we want to go there? Because of course you know that everyone else can see it as well, so it's a dangerous place to be, but there's great rewards to be had if you go and take down the skeleton fort.
The original idea for it as well was quite interesting in the sense that we knew we wanted to have a skull island, but we didn't want to do the traditional kind of like rock skull on an island and you just go around and go, there you go, that's what it is. So it was born out of the idea of having billows of smoke coming out of an island and forming that skull cloud. So we actually had that quite early on, this visual that we thought was really interesting. And then as soon as the skelly forts appeared and we had that idea of bringing people together, the skull fort just kind of fit.
Yeah, because it kind of hovers above in this very foreboding fashion that's, in some ways, it's beckoning you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, beckoning you for death.
So as a designer working with art and visuals, what was it like working... Art director.
Sorry for the correction. Yeah, the art director. It was the fact that there was so much freedom in the sense of that the design is pared back in the sense of the way that it's not about menus, it's not about overly mechanical kind of like systems. It's lots of these little touches. And so with the artwork, it was all about creating a believable world, so everything feels real to you when you're going around the world, and also the way you interact with it all. And we were able to put really history into every single item. So from the compass that you hold in your hand with a cracked lens to the telescopes that feel battered, we were trying to get lore and story into every single item. And by the design being quite light in some of the way that it interacted with them, we were able to really make the most of it.
We are 60 or 70 miles from the ocean. How in a landlocked space like out here in Rare did you guys do such an excellent job? Tell me about the research you did to capture so accurately what it's like to be on the ocean and to be a pirate.
I've watched a lot of films. I think I've watched virtually every single pirate film there is ever, even the bad ones, all the bad ones. But yeah, we also went to the Golden Hind down in London, which is
and the Cutty
big ship.
Sark as well. We went to like a big ship and a really little ship where we were all hitting our heads on the ceiling. It's about that almost playing as a kid and your imagination and your version of what being pirates and being out on that ocean is. And so there's a simplification of that as well to kind of just.
But it's the quintessence. I mean, I've played so much of it and it's so wonderful. It is like the quintessential pirate experience when you were a kid, right? It's the mind's eye, perfect, beautiful version of being a pirate.
I think everyone has their idea of what that is, and everyone's got their different inspiration for that of Pirates of the Caribbean or like I love the Goonies, and everyone's got their own version of where that comes from. But then you've got a team of like 100+ people all with that idea, and everybody's bringing their own version of that. And I think that's why it's such a powerful thing, because everybody knows pirates.
And we embraced all the tropes. We just kind of looked at all the classic pirate things and just went, we've got to do this.
Yeah, we literally have got a children's book that's like 101 like pirate ideas, and we joke that that's our design document. It's but when you do read through it, it's like, yep, we've got that, you can do that. It doesn't have vomiting into a bucket.
It's a children's book, maybe the next one anyway. Shelley, Ryan, thank you for your time.
Thank you.